guard. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
When American historian Dr. Carter G. Woodson established the Negro History Week in 1926, he realized the importance of providing a theme to focus the attention of the public. The intention was never to dictate or limit the exploration of the Black experience, but to bring to the public's attention the important developments that merit emphasis. The theme for 2021 is the Black family: representation, identity, and diversity. The Black family has been a topic of study in many disciplines: history, literature, sociology, anthropology, social policy, the visual arts, and film studies. Its representation, identity, and diversity have been revered, stereotyped, and vilified from the days of slavery to today. The Black family knows no single location. Family reunions and genetic ancestry searches testify to the spread of family members across states, nations, and continents. The role of the Black family has been described by some as the microcosm of the entire race. Its complexity as the foundation of African American life and history can be seen in numerous debates over how it's represented meaning. The family offers a rich tapestry of images for exploring African American past and present.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Nick Baskerville. I am one of the many members with the Prince William County Black History Committee. And today, we will be bringing to you virtually our Black History event. In years past, we've normally gathered and we've fellowshipped and we have eaten some really good food. But this is a different year, so we're going to do things differently, but we will do it consistently. And today, we are going to be talking about the African American family, the Black family, and the things that we think about as a whole. What stereotypes, what are the things that we deal with? To that end, we wanted to bring it back specifically to Prince William County. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we have the Pendleton family here with us today.
Hi, I'm Brandon.
I'm Adoe.
I'm Karis. And I'm Josiah.
And we are the Pendletons.
Hello, Pendleton family.
Hello.
I am so excited to be here with you today. And in case anyone out there was wondering, like, why am I dressed up and you aren't, it's because you have talent. And when you have talent, you can dress like normal people, and then when you don't, you gotta make your, and just telling them how it is. Let's talk about that talent. Tell me a bit about yourselves and what do you all do?
Hi, I'm Karis, and I'm a dancer. I dance in Maryland, and I dance with City Dance School and Conservatory, and I also take piano, voice, and guitar from my mom at NT Music Studios.
Hi, I'm Josiah. I do Nova BMX, and I also take piano, but no singing. So
Don't worry, I take no singing, piano, no nothing.
Then some piano lessons should be coming up.
You recommending take piano lessons, buddy? That's good. Well, I'm Brandon, and my day, I'm just an IT guy. But 24 hours, 7 days a week, dad, husband, supporter of my wife, and she's the lead of Intune. And, she says I have some kind of musical aptitude, but all the talent bears with the wife and kids, and so. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. And I do audio services as well in support of the studio and other things here locally in the community too. So it's been good.
That's right. Make sure your dad get in all his credits, all them.
Mom, it's your turn.
Thanks. Hi, my name is Adoe, and I am the owner of Intune Music Studios. I started teaching in public schools about 20 years ago, I guess. Yeah, 20 years ago.
2004, so 16. You rounded up still.
Yeah. And then after receiving my master's degree in music education, specifically in Kodály music education, which is a Hungarian music philosophy, I decided that I wanted to be able to share my love of music with my community outside of just an elementary school. So after having our children, my husband supported me in starting this business, and I teach piano, voice, guitar, ukulele. I also tutor in music theory.
And you do it virtually.
And now we're doing it virtually, which is really fun. And actually before the pandemic, I was teaching virtually for students that lived in the area and then they were military and they had to move away, or students that I taught through high school, and then when they went on to college, they wanted to maintain that relationship. So we had kind of started doing virtual before the pandemic, so it was a really cool, seamless transition to virtual lessons.
Probably more of a, woo, where y'all been at? I'm waiting for y'all to show up in the space that I'm at.
Losing
Right.
clients.
Yeah, I did lose some clients because it is really hard to get used to virtually communicating and finding that students need that hands-on one-on-one experience, and then being able to allow yourself to accept something new, being able to try something different. A lot of times it's really hard, just human nature-wise, it's hard to try to change. And so in order to lessen the stress of my clients' children, they chose to take a break, and now they're all coming back after the winter, so like after the holidays, so I'm a little bit overwhelmed because we've really kind of balanced out the schedule so that I get to have some more time with my family. With the loss of the clients, it's actually kind of been bittersweet. It's been a good thing because I've been able to spend more time with our family. We had, I think, about 70 clients that we were teaching in person. So our doors were always, opening and closing. And then when we dwindled down because of the pandemic, it brought back so much time with the family. So though it was a change financially, it was a necessary change, I think, that we all kind of appreciated.
Absolutely. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I know for myself, one of the things I experienced, I've learned something. I've actually taken up a course of study. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. It's called box fort building. My daughter has been teaching it to me. She's 9, baby girl. And so now I'm at the apprentice level at the moment.
Okay.
But she seems confident that I can actually, a few more classes, I'll be ready to be on my own.
And Paris is 10.
So they're similar.
They're close in age,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm 7, so.
She'll be 11 soon. So.
Yes, right around the corner.
So when you speak about that work-life balance and trying to manage this new normal, which is probably just regular normal at this point, the trying to adjust to the things that are difficult, but then to kind of appreciate, like, well, I didn't have this before. More people are working from home. What else are in there? Are there any other ways that you're working through this work-life balance? And how do you see it changing, maybe like when things do open up slowly but surely?
Well, one of the things that thankfully for me, career-wise, I had already been working from home, and that's just for my employer, that's just truly is part of the culture. But one of the things I do love is that I think about 1.5 years ago, I had a conversation with a director that I worked for, and we were talking about compensation. And he was always saying that, everybody wants more money, everybody wants this and that. And I had told him, I said, well, sir, you really need to consider that not everybody's motivated by the same things when you have a team dynamic. And he was like, so what if, he said, if people don't want money, then what do you think they want? I said, some people just want time back, to reduce their time on the road, the commute, whatever, the flexibility to do what they need to do for their families during the day. But this old school model of have people in seats just to make people feel like they're being productive because they can see them, that's kind of antiquated, and that needs to change. So it was pretty awesome to hear and see. I have a few buddies who work for some pretty significant tech companies and things of that nature. It's pretty awesome to see that people are adopting that model to where now they're saying, instead of bringing everyone in, you know what, I don't care where you live, and get the job done. Obviously there's a pandemic, but folks are really changing the culture to understand that people are not always motivated by money. People are motivated by other things, and so it's important to make sure that you consider the total person when you're trying to really build a team dynamic. So that's been good.
And what I love about your answer there is that ideal of really understanding what it is that people want. Mm-hmm. We're talking specifically about the African American family, the black family, and sometimes there's these misconceptions, these stereotypes of like, well, if it's a black family, then this is what they want or do, and a white family, and Hispanic, and on down the road. But I think that there are values, things that we all want. We just may want it in a different version.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I just love that about your answer. Now, for those of you who are watching, you may not know this, but this is 1 week after there was, how should I say, a mass gathering of individuals in DC.
Right.
And I tell you, the biggest issue I have with that mass gathering, how did all those people find parking in DC? I've been to DC at 2, 3 in the afternoon, and I can't find for myself,
right.
And then there's there. But there's probably a bigger elephant in the room. There's just a lot of conflict, and really when you think about it, it just caps off an entire year of conflict one way or another, definitely to its extremes. Have you been having conversations here with your kids about like, well, this is what's going on, and this is a way to process it, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, our conversation started at the onset of the pandemic. Shortly after the pandemic started, we started to see more video footage of police brutality, and that there was more information that we were kind of as adults from our more details from our. We were able to sit with basically how we were raised, mm-hmm. and we were able to kind of begin or continue the conversation with our children, just the reality of history and how now that we are indoors and we're with our families, how there are things that are kind of coming to surface and that they needed to understand what's going on. I think the brunt of the conversations for our family happened closer, like in the start of the summer. Sadly, the events of last week were not a surprise to our family. We didn't have to come and have a powwow about it, but we did continue the conversation of we need to be a prepared family, mm-hmm. and you are not allowed to say certain things to certain people about your parents' opinions or what you believe is to be the right thing to do and how to treat people. Mm-hmm. Because now it's volatile and we don't want anyone to be hurt because of you may say something that could offend someone.
Or in the situation where it brings attention to them that causes mom and dad to have to intervene in an assertive manner that could potentially escalate even to an undesirable result. So but absolutely we're very I would say very keen on making sure our children are aware of just the times that we're in. We try to keep it in a framed and something that they can handle at their age, but when they are aware of conflict, as a parent, you can't control everything your kid hears or sees or they're exposed to. So we try to prepare them to help in the different circles that they have in their community. We try to just help them be aware and how they can kind of navigate those. And if they have questions, feel free to engage me or mom to help them. But definitely, like my wife said, it wasn't shocking. for what happened. Definitely disappointing and saddening for the loss of life. But also too, it really hones in on this, what we've been sharing with them. They're getting a chance to see, what these elements of white privilege looks like. And then for people who are not black, that we view as family. And frankly, we have family members who, we have other races within our family as well. But for people who are not black, we give our kids opportunity to see a true difference in how relationships are built with the folks that we have in our circle versus the rhetoric and things that we've been seeing in our country.
And that the majority of the friends that we have in our circle that are white are not violent, are not trying to treat us a certain way, that they are very much having open conversations with us and our children just about the differences that are here, and that they don't agree to the behaviors of what we see the majority doing.
And what I like in your answer is that idea that stereotypes don't fit anyone.
Yeah.
So there may be those stereotypes that there are about African Americans and the African American family, but there's also that go the other way. And teaching the kids how to have that critical thought process of really figuring out where people are at. And it's going to be an ongoing thing.
We're only able to fix and work on ourselves, and we can't force anyone outside of that to get any better. But we have to remember that because we are black, we also have to, we get to share who we are, and we shouldn't be hesitant to be able to share who we are.
Yeah. I know for me, I don't know if I could do the homeschooling thing, but the distance learning has gone well in my household. My daughter has taught me a lot. She's going to get me up to the 4th grade level. She's been successful despite my help. I really appreciate that. I'm on my 7 times tables now. Just in case you're wondering, 7 times 7 is not 77. Don't just put the 2 sevens together like that. That's not the real answer. Don't do that.
No.
You tried that,
I
right?
know 7 times 8 is 56.
Good job.
There you go.
You didn't have to show me up like that.
But 6 times 6 is 36, so.
Once again, you didn't have to show me up. This is being recorded right
6
now.
times 6 is 36, so
Yeah,
we all in here.
that's good.
Now, one of the things that I noticed and that you hit on is like the history and how you're teaching that other perspective. Because of course the schools have a responsibility that this is in the textbook and the curriculum, this is how it goes into there, but there is that certain lens that the parents kind of lend with that as well. I know my daughter, I don't know about your family, she really, really loves Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had to explain to her some things like, hey, Hamilton, not really person of color. Like, and he probably didn't spit bars like that.
No bars. No.
So there are a few different things that are in there. So I find, and I can relate to that idea of what is it that you add into there? What are they ready for? What are you having to explain, and how do you go about it? So that way it's well adjusted. My grandmother has passed away. I'm fortunate enough that my mom is like 20 minutes away. Granny is 20 minutes away. I have to make sure to say that right because nothing else is such right. Granny is the only acceptable answer. And we've been pretty lucky, at least up until the pandemic, that every Friday that was their day. She went over with Granny. They did whatever they're going to do. And I just found room to fit in whatever the next new thing was in the house. I had to keep reminding my mom that we live in a townhouse. There's limits and zoning laws to the things that we can actually do here.
Right.
But I like that chance that there's things like that my mom teaches. She brings out this big Bible as a book and has all the family history and who was where and what. Have you had a chance to have those kind of conversations with your kids about the family history and where things come from? Yes, ma'am.
I remember my mom and my dad, they both did, what is it, like where you can find your genetics? Like,
Oh,
study
Freedom?
fam- No.
Ancestry.com
Yes,
and also the African ancestry.
Yeah.
And ancestry.
My mom found this picture of her grandmother, like her, was it your great
My great-great-grandmother.
mother? And she was like biracially white, and she was wearing this fancy dress, and mom was talking to us about different things in like older history, how like people in our family come out lighter skinned because of things that happened.
My mom did the DNA test.
Okay.
Let's just say it was a little bit shocking. And I say that because she was able to trace that. We actually started in Maryland. Where I'm actually originally from Philly,
Okay.
and you have a last name like Baskerville. Like you start looking at everybody you see with Baskerville, like, what side of the tree you from?
Right, there you go. Yep, yep.
But there's a lot of variations, to your point, a lot of variations in what the family tree looks like. And I think that brings about an opportunity to just explore, what does it mean to be black? Right? When I look at things in society, there's like, if you're black, then here are the listings of things you don't do. And so I've been wondering, as a family, like, what is your take? What does it mean to be black or African American or whatever term, and why use the term, if at all?
But for me, it means to believe in the one true God, and still be nice. And
Your eyes.
Give me
Show
your
us your eyes.
money is not important.
If I could get you to tell that to my bill collectors, please, I would really.
Right, all those people trying to get in our pockets.
I tell them it's overrated, and they still keep asking for money. But well, I like what came out in this part of the conversation about what it means to be black has changed over the centuries, over time.
Absolutely.
And how there are, even as I listen to the things that he mentioned, well, that's just part of being people. All right. What else? What are some other thoughts for, like, what does it mean to be black in today's day and age?
When I think of black, I think of this a shared history. I think swag. I really do. There's something about.
Like the, I guess, I don't know.
Oh, go ahead. 'Cause I know you like that term.
I love
I
that
don't
turn
know,
too.
like there's, I guess like the,
That's like-
when I think of like the swag like from black people, I think of it as like the hip hop. I think like the way
Oh,
they
okay.
smooth.
So
Yeah,
you're
it's
the
smooth.
dancer. You're the
Yeah.
dancer. The way we carry ourselves, we add a special. There's certain things about our personalities, I believe, that we just add a certain flavor in terms of how we communicate. A certain level of. Well, let me explain. A certain level of energy. There's a level of energy and focusedness that we bring. There's a communal element to it. There's a real. As a people, we're very real and down to earth. Holistically, I think we like to call a spade a spade. We're very honest about what it is that we see and what it is that we experience.
Just a sec.
Oh, yes,
A
I'm sorry.
spade is a card
Oh, there you go.
in the deck
Yes, sir.
that is black. And then when you say that's what it is, you're just I'm just putting it out there. I don't know
Yeah.
how many people I play spades, but I'm not sure how many other people
Do you
play.
play bid whist?
No, sir.
Okay, I'm just curious. No problem. Sorry, you know.
That's
But-
really the essence of what Brandon is saying, is that we crave community and we crave authenticity.
Yeah.
I think that's really important. In the black community, we have really, over the many years, have fought to be seen in general. And so I know that my grandmother, my mom, my father, they have instilled in me that I have to work harder than the next. I am in an occupation that I am definitely the minority. I was I was actually the first black woman to graduate with my master's degree from Loyola University in the field of Kodály music education. I had to not only, as I'm learning and getting my education, I also had the responsibility of helping my colleagues understand how can you just create a song quickly like that? Well, a part of our tribe, our culture is we're always freestyling, we're always creating these bardoons and doing different fun rhythms and singing, and we don't shame that. But that's a part of being a part of a culture, is just sharing who you are musically. We're created innately to be musical. And actually, you can lose your musical aptitude if it's not nurtured. And so we really believe that it's important.
That's what I'm claiming right now that happened to me.
After 9 years old, it's gone.
For birthdays, like speaking to what Mom was saying about like our music aspects, we like to do Pendleton freestyles. I guess for birthdays, we like to
We don't sing the typical happy birthday song.
No, we do all the times.
Do you get the Stevie Wonder version in there too?
Yes.
Oh, we slide it in
Yes,
there. We
yes.
gotta, like you said,
At the
coaches.
end.
Coaches.
Yeah. But we always have to
We
happen.
slide Stevie Wonder.
You do.
Now, what I like, and particularly as I listen to your answers, and particularly how you talk about community and the musical nature of it, if you look back into the history, particularly from the tribes that were Africa, even Africa now, that sort of stuff is there. So you can see how that still kind of has come through the African American community even to this day. And so there's just so many traits and so many things and qualities. Are there any qualities or traits or things that you're trying to instill in your kid, particularly if there's something like, well, you know, just like you said, there are things that were taught to you by your parents and your grandparents. Anything that you're like, this, I want you to be able to do this. I want you to know this.
We do it subconsciously. Like we are always giving them the beat inside of their body, or helping them sing in their high voice, or not making them feel like they have a boy voice or a girl voice at this age because they have children's voices. There's no sexual designation. So they never feel shamed to sing high or low. They always know how to find the pulse. You know what? We don't make that something conscious. We just are, it's always present in the culture of our family. So with that, the only thing we're intentional about is that you have to learn an instrument, and that's important.
Let's be clear, Mom made it loud and clear to be from day one. This will be done in our household for our kids. But I think just that whole discipline aspect, because music is like a foreign language to me, and it's overwhelming and intimidating when I look at the notes and things. But you know, you put me in front of a computer and I'm looking at, you know, binary ones and zeros and all that. I feel at home and they're looking at me like, what's wrong with you? Like, you're looking into the matrix here. And I'm like, yeah, you're looking into the matrix over there, you know. But yeah, the discipline of learning that, so when you face a challenge, you don't give up. That you're going to get frustrated. It's okay to get frustrated as long as you're learning. It's okay to make a mistake. Mistakes mean you're learning. They don't define you in the sense that it's final. And that when you succeed, celebrate. Be happy for yourself, and be proud, and encourage others along the way. Everybody has that. Everyone's not going to progress at the same level in everything. Everyone's not called to be the best at everything, but whatever you are, you have the ability to do, you do it, and you take responsibility, you take ownership. And also, you try your best to be a life-giving presence to those who you're around, to encourage them to do well. You don't leave people behind. You don't let them stay in this space where they're downing themselves. No, we all face challenges. So let's rise together.
Speaking to what my dad was saying, I know when we first started homeschool, it was a big change for me because I had been in public school for private school for since I was
4 or 5 years.
Yeah, 4 or 5 years. And it was a big change knowing, because when I would get tests, different scores that I would get frustrated. But my mom and my dad would be like, it's okay, you know, you can just keep trying, because the way we do homeschool is that if you get like a lower score, it's okay, it just means that's where you understand it. It's not a final score or anything like that. You just got to keep trying. So this year I've kind of really started understanding that and kept pushing to do better with that. And
Versus being like hung up on the failure. It's not really a failure. It's just, this is what I need to learn more.
Yeah, right.
And one other element that I'll add is, even just in terms of instilling, you know, things in your family, that we're all learning and growing, and we're all going to encounter things that we never have experienced before. So we got to take the time to figure it out. Case in point, you know, our son, you know, recently. Yes, sir. It's okay. I'm share that. Okay. Is it okay to share that? You want to share it? Yeah, go ahead and share it, buddy.
I have Asperger's.
Oh, okay.
I'm really smart.
You are really smart. You are very, very smart.
And I don't remember, but I think Karis has Asperger's too.
No, the doctor told us that we have some very intelligent kids, and Karis happened to overhear the doctor saying, your daughter's so intelligent, by the time she's 13 years old, she'll realize she's smarter than half the adults that she's talking to. And so our kids have kind of latched on to that.
Wow.
Doctor apparently doesn't want any more clients.
Right,
At all.
Yeah, exactly. So, but even with learning Asperger's and our son knowing who he is and knowing that has nothing to be ashamed about, we are all who we are, and as a family, we're not. But living honestly as a dad, this is a new journey, and as a family that we're taking together, and we're not going to live quietly about it. We're not going to live ashamedly about it, but we are going to make sure that people are aware. So we don't want to set people up for failure as we're building community. So case in point, I was in a situation where I was talking to, this is kind of embarrassing, but I'll admit it. I was in a situation supporting a music endeavor, a virtual concert, and I was talking to a gentleman who was blind. And for some reason, in that moment, I didn't realize the gentleman was blind.
You didn't see that coming?
I didn't. No,
Wait,
I honestly didn't see it.
How did you realize he was blind?
The gentleman said, he literally told me things as an IT guy. It's just registering for me. He's like, yeah, I just emailed you some things, and just going through the process. I didn't see him get any kind of assistance walking in. I didn't see him with a cane. None of these things. He's 100% blind, and it was humbling.
How did he tell you he was blind?
He actually, someone on the team told him, because another embarrassing moment, I actually was trying to troubleshoot something with him, and I showed him my phone in hopes that he would see what I'm looking at. But at any rate, the whole point is being that no one made me aware. And I know for us, from a value system perspective and community, we don't look at who someone is as an impediment to who you are. That's who you are, and quite frankly, we don't force people, in our family, we don't shun people away. We embrace who they are, and we adjust if necessary to respectfully accommodate, because every person, every soul is just as important.
And celebrating each other's differences.
Absolutely.
So with that in mind, I want to ask one last question. This is just be the question that kind of wrap up our time here together. That has been phenomenal. Thank you. What are your hopes for the future? Now, I just want to caution you that people had hopes for 2021, and we went off the rail in like 6 days.
Yes, brother.
But despite that, when you look at the future, what are your hopes, particularly for your family?
I think my hope for the future is that we get back to being a tribe, a community, a folk group of people that look after and care for one another. I think we've gotten away from that with technology is truly a blessing, but I think it's also become a little bit of a curse because we've become so individualistic and not being able to stop and care for the man next to us. We are trying to instill in our children that they have a voice and that they should feel free to communicate themselves. And a lot of times you walk into a space and children, adults will not acknowledge your presence. They won't even say hello. And it's important that we acknowledge humankind. Be a nice human, right? It's so important.
I was going to point out your shirt and everything. You don't beat me to the punchline.
She teed it up just nice, didn't she? I think you said great, babe, for definitely for the community piece, but to his point about question about our family. My hope for our family is that this is going to sound kind of crazy or kind of like high level, but that we just really fulfill our purpose and maximize every opportunity that we're presented. That we do understand that we stand on some strong shoulders of people who have a lot of blood has been shed and sacrifices made for us to be where we are. So to a degree, we sit in the seat of privilege. By default, each generation, no matter how tough the circumstances may be facing, each generation does still sit, if we're building upon what happened on the work of those before us, we're sitting in a space of privilege. So for us to not, so my hope for my family is that we understand that privilege, and that in that privilege, we don't walk with a level of entitlement, but that we truly keep working hard and keep growing, and we maximize the opportunities we have due to our privilege.
Yeah, as it goes with one of my favorite quotes, all that I am, I owe. I am eternally in the red.
Every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise. as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun, let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary tears, God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far on the way, Thou who hast by Thy might led us into the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray. Bless our feet straight from the places, our God, where we met Thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget Thee. Shadowed beneath Thy hand, may we forever stand, true to our God, true to our native land.
And now, a few words from the county exec.
Hi, everyone. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to participate in this year's Black History Month program. I'd like to begin by thanking the Pendleton family for taking their time and sharing their stories with us. I'm very appreciative of their willingness to participate and be a part of this important program and dialogue. I also want to thank the county staff who, even during a global pandemic, found a way to make this program happen. It took creativity, teamwork, excellence, and so much more to pull this all together. But you did it, and I'm very appreciative of each and every one of you. As I watched the inauguration of President Biden, I was struck by the words of the inaugural poet, Amanda Gorman. In her poem, she stated, "And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We're striving to forge a union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We in Prince William County are striving to create an organization with purpose, an organization committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions for employees and residents alike. An organization where its culture is built upon equity and inclusion for all. An organization that ensures its policies reflect its intentions. To accomplish this, there are many things we are putting into place. We have begun the process of assessing our policies, programs, and practices through the use of equity lenses. We are building equity and inclusion knowledge and skill capacity within our workforce by developing and delivering training. We are working with our leadership team to provide tools and opportunities to create dialogue within the workforce. We are in the process of hiring an equity and inclusion officer. We are developing a policy for the Board of County Supervisors that operationalizes equity and inclusion concepts. And we are putting processes in place so that everything we do moves the needle towards our intention of decreasing racial inequality and improving opportunities for success for all groups. The Board of County Supervisors is also leading the way in this journey. Over the last year, they took several actions to support unity and equity within the community. They condemned white supremacy and supported racial reconciliation and inclusion. They voted to rename Jefferson Davis Highway to Richmond Highway. They proclaimed National Slavery and Human Trafficking Prevention Month, as well as proclaimed LGBTQ and Pride Month. They proclaimed Black Lives Matter, and they called on the county and the community to work collaboratively with constructive dialogue. As such, the board created the Racial and Social Justice Commission to examine ways and propose solutions to reduce racial disparities, treat all residents equally, and to proactively give all residents the chance to fully participate in county programs, services, and benefits. These efforts will result in a path forward to improving racial and social justice in Prince William County. So, as Amanda Gorman said, we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. Potential, possibility, promise. That's what stands before us here in Prince William County. That when we leave, we will leave behind something much better than what we found, because it will be fair and equal for all people, because it will provide opportunities for all people, and because it will celebrate all people. While we have started down this journey of intention, there is much more work to be done, and we recognize that. We also recognize that we cannot do it alone. It will take the effort of our workforce, our community, and our elected officials, all working together. It is not lost on me that this year's theme for Black History Month is the Black family. And as the Black family has been described as the foundation of African American life and history, it is clear to me that the work we are doing now is creating a better, sturdier foundation for our organization and our community. I look forward to working with all of you to continue building a foundation that fairly and equitably supports all of our employees and residents through our policies, our procedures, and our culture of service. Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, that has been our 2021 Black History program. We are so glad that you were able to watch this. What we hope that you take away from this is that this is the African American family. There are a lot of similarities to every kind of family that you can imagine. There are also some differences. I encourage you to reach out and just get to know everybody and to know what makes them tick and how you're similar and how we all can just be just kind human beings. My name is Nick Baskerville for the Black History Committee here in Prince William County. Thank you for showing up today.
All right, take care.
Bye.